한국에 부임하신 후로 너무 열심히 일해 주셔서 한인 노안에 특히 경제뿐만 아니라 문화나 다른 분야에까지 많은 협력을 할 수 있게 해주신 비시는 프라카시 중앙인도 대사를 모셔서 기조 연설을 드리겠습니다.
Vice Chairman and CEO of FKI, and what I just learned, a former monk with a very strong India connection, Mr. Lee Sun Chol, Secretary, Government of Gujarat, Mr. S.J. Haider, Secretary General, ICCK, Mr. Edward Chang, friends, ladies and gentlemen, Anand Hashimnika, Manasobang Kapsumnida, Namaste, good morning, welcome. I am absolutely delighted to see all of you, welcome all of you here. Let me be frank, today is a very happy day for me and for us in the Embassy of India. We have been very keen to showcase to you the best that India has to offer, the state of Gujarat. And we have been looking forward to the visit of this composite delegation led by Vice Minister Secretary S.J. Haider. Question that you would naturally ask is why Gujarat? And you'll be hearing a lot about it. Gujarat, for the simple reason that it is the leading state in India in growth, in industrialization, in infrastructure. Vice Chairman Lee was very right when he said that we have infrastructure constraints. And Gujarat is one state which has almost managed to overcome the infrastructure constraints, has become the only state in India, perhaps, which is power surplus. The only state in India which is harnessing the power not only of renewable energy, whether it's the solar energy, whether it's wind energy. By the way, Gujarat has the largest solar energy park in Asia, but also conventional energy. With the best of seaports, with the best of airports, whether it is cotton, whether it is petrochemicals, whether it is diamonds, whether it is textiles, and of course manufacturing sector and industrialization, Gujarat leads India. One story that we have never been able to forget is the story of Nano. You may have heard of the small Indian car called Nano. The house of Tatas, which is the biggest Indian conglomerate having a turnover of $100 billion, was having some difficulty in identifying a location for setting up manufacturing of Tata Nano. The then Chief Minister of Gujarat and the present Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, he made an offer and everything was wrapped up in 48 hours. Land, clearances, the connectivity, and in 48 hours a decision was taken to shift the plant and the manufacturing facilities of Nano to Gujarat. And this is the state of Gujarat that we are showcasing today. This is the state of Gujarat which is extending a cordial invitation to you to be its partner. And this state of Gujarat has also an industrial show called Vibrant Gujarat. The next Vibrant Gujarat session will be held from the 11th to 13th of January next year, and you're all cordially invited. You'll be hearing more about that. Well, that said, what happened in Gujarat? Why is Gujarat different? Why did Gujarat manage to do what other states of India or India did not manage to do? The answer is very simple. One man, the leadership of one man, the vision of one man. And this one man was the Chief Minister or Governor of the state of Gujarat, and now the Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi. He led the state of Gujarat for 14 years and transformed it. He is the person who has now been elected by young India, by vibrant India, by educated India, by aspirational India as the Prime Minister of the country. He became the Prime Minister about 4 months ago. Frankly, a unique story, an unprecedented story, a once-in-a-lifetime story is unfolding in India. A story of growth, a story of opportunity, a story of anticipation. And we invite you to be a partner in the growth story of India. Prime Minister Modi has been elected on the platform of economic development. For the first time in 30 years, the Indian electorate, comprising of more than 800 million people, have voted across party lines, ethnic lines, regional lines to give a strongest possible mandate to a leader, first time in 30 years. Because the young India wants economic development, and that is what India is working towards. I'm not going to talk about what India wants to do. I'm going to tell you what India has already done, and that too in the last about 4.5 months. A series of noiseless reforms have been already introduced and implemented in 4 months in India. A series of reforms to cut down bureaucratic red tape, to sweep aside the cobweb of regulations, of restrictions, empower bureaucracy, speed up decision making. And to cite just a couple of examples, we are moving very rapidly towards e-governance. An e-register is being set up for each company so that they can file all their applications online and get clearances online in one stroke. So that the need for filing hundreds of forms and applications every year is dispensed with. This is just one example. Somebody was explaining to me that every manufacturing company had to file a labor return every year, which ran into 80 pages. That in one stroke has been reduced to 5 pages. The self-attestation has been initiated. The need for notarization of documents has been done away with the result that the businesses do not have to notarize billions of documents every month. Deadlines are being set up and are being implemented. The best part is that decision making has been speeded up to such an extent that we had more than 320 big infrastructure projects which were in the pipeline, which were held up due to environment clearance issues. Out of that, 240 have already been cleared. Highway projects have been cleared, power projects have been cleared, and there is a new energy that is in evidence in India. And that is what we are talking of. And now the Prime Minister has initiated a campaign called Make in India. You saw a glimpse of that. The vision is to make India a manufacturing hub. Why? As many of you know, India will be the largest market in the world by 2028, comprising of 600 million middle class. 600 million middle class, up from 250 million middle class today. India is a very young nation, growing younger. India is the only major country in the world, friends, which is growing younger. while the world is aging, while the population growth rate is slowing down, the median age in India by 2020 will be 29 years, when China will be 37 years and Europe will be 49 years. India is already the third largest economy in Asia and will be the third largest economy in the world by 2030. Young India is partnering with all companies. For example, Samsung, House of Samsung, has 20% engineers which are Indian. Apple has 1/3 of engineers that are Indian. So this is the human power that we want to harness to create a new India in infrastructure, in the manufacturing sector, and we need partnerships. And we cannot think of a better partner than Korea. So that is the object of this exercise, to tell you what Gujarat is all about, what India has to offer. The decision is yours, but I just want to say that we are rolling out a red carpet welcome. Many of you know that visa on arrival for Korean tourists has already been introduced since April. My First Secretary Consular is here. Can I ask my First Secretary Consular to rise? Mr. Vedpal Singh is the First Secretary looking after consular affairs. And I can assure you, ladies and gentlemen, that business visas are being given for the asking. We are giving 1 year multiple entry visas or even longer where there's a requirement. Everything is on the website. My colleague is here. My email ID is on the website. His email ID is on the website. If there is any issue which will not be there, please let us know. Basic message is, we welcome you. We value what Korea can do. Korea has already a large footprint in India. We want to see that footprint enhance. And I look forward to meeting some of you one-on-one. If there are any questions later after the interactions, we will be very happy to answer them. God bless you. Thank you very much. Have a good day.